who's next? Yeah, who's next? Welcome to the Crime! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. Why? Because we want you to win. This podcast exists because we want you to get leverage and figure out how to get a leg up on the business. That's why we named it the C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B, which stands for Creating Leverage in the Music Business. Genius. That was you, Brent. You're awesome. I want to introduce you to my co-host, Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And Brent also helps songwriters turn pro by teaching the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. And you can find Brent at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
Hey, and I want to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. It's an innovative artist development company. They help you find your sound, and they help you find your audience. Not only do they develop and improve your artistry, they also grow and monetize your fan base, creating cash flow, baby. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S. Hey, Johnny, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. How you?
Man, I'm doing all right. Although I'll be honest, I'm a little perturbed.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed, a little bugged, a little peeved.
Ooh, this sounds serious.
A little bird in my saddle. I know.
Okay. Talk to me.
Well, see, I've been spending some time on Facebook, Johnny.
Uh-huh.
And in some Facebook groups for songwriters.
Yeah, that Songwriting Pro group is blowing up.
It's doing really well, but my mistake has been wandering over to some other groups. And that's, I was in other groups before I started the Songwriting Pro group. And I tell you, people out there, you songwriters, a lot of you are ruining Facebook and your career at the same time.
Ooh.
And I hate to see it, and it bugs me. So that's what I want to talk about today.
Do tell. I already can tell. So I already know where you're going with this.
Oh yeah, this is for real. So I'm just going. It's getting real now. Okay. So yes. So today's episode is Stop Ruining Facebook and Your Career. So there we go. We're going to get blunt. Okay. So follow up with last week's blunt episode. Here's another one. So buckle up or run faster. So that's right. I'm just pulling up my phone here. So a little live experiment, live at the time of recording. So I'm just going into a songwriting group on Facebook. Public group has over 9,000 members. Okay, over 9,000. That's a lot.
That is
okay. Let's just see what's going on. I'm just going to go down the list here. Here's a guy. My original song. Blah blah blah. Video link. Okay. Next one. I've been reluctant to advertise, but I put so much into this book that I want to blah blah blah. Okay, here my book about writing lyrics. Okay. Oh hey everyone, I'm an experienced poet and lyricist, and here you can listen to some of my songs here. Okay. Oh, listen to my beats on YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, I don't want to forget that because I feel like I know you.
I want to vomit already.
Yeah. Here's someone with a link to, to a blog post or something. That's all right. Oh, here's something I wrote a long time ago. Oh, so at least I know it's not fresh. Thank you. And a link to some music. So yeah, there we go. Here's some more. Oh, here's some more songs. Here's a song I just wrote. Okay. Well, thank you. Oh, reword of the chorus. Any suggestions? I don't know you. Oh, here's another one. 2 in a row. Constructive criticism, please. Well, there we go. 2 in a row. So there we go. Oh, and finally we get to actually a comment and somebody making the actual statement. So
that's exhausting.
Oh man, it's funny. I'm looking at these. I'm like, okay, let's see what kind of comments. Not much. Maybe just a couple. Most of them. Nothing.
So what's really going on?
Have anything? So
how's that working for you? Right?
It's a bunch of people in a room. They're all screaming into the corner, saying, "Look at me!" Yeah. And I don't know how many of y'all are. Well, probably all of y'all are on Facebook, but how many of y'all spend time in those Facebook groups? But it is just brutal. So like I said, I'm a member of a lot of groups, and I'll go in, and sometimes I'm just like looking to like add value because right, we believe in that here. I'm looking for someone asking a question. Maybe I can pop in real quick and maybe answer a question, encourage somebody, something, right?
Yeah.
I can't find anything. because really I don't want to listen to a bunch of songs and give feedback on that as much. There are places I do that. I do that in my group, okay? And I do it, over at Freddie.com, FRETTIE.com. But, man, to listen to, a 4-minute song just so I can, drop a little value and move on, I don't have time to do that all day long. Give me a question or give me a statement. Give me something I can work with. So many times I go over in other groups and nah, nothing, because I'm wanting to add value, be a part of those groups, but no, I don't want to go check out your song. I'm sorry. And odds are you don't check out other people's songs either. Yeah. So, that's been just really a burn in my saddle. And that's one of the big reasons I started the Songwriting Pro Facebook group. It's a private group. You can join, you can request to enter, but I want a little more control over who gets in there so I can boot people out basically if they don't behave themselves. But I want to talk about today, Johnny. I'm sure you've seen the same thing yourself over in a bunch of groups. People just hit and run. Oh, here's my song. Check me out. See you later, sucker.
Yeah, it's the same way they do it on social media too.
It's the same thing.
Come check me out. Here's the link to purchase our music at iTunes. Has that ever worked once? Once? One time? Has it worked one time? Is there anybody out there that said, check me out on iTunes, and somebody spent $10 on a CD to find out if you suck or not?
I've never done it.
No.
I don't click those links. I don't know you. Stop running Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And listen, man, I got some grace for people that do that stuff, because a lot of them, I'm sure it's because, hey, you know what? They're doing something. They're being active, right? Okay. Like last week we were talking about get on YouTube, start putting up cover songs. All right. So at least these people are doing stuff, right? But the way you're going about it is just not helpful. It's not helpful to the audience. It's like me as a member of that group, and it's really not helpful for you as a writer. And there are much better ways to go about it. But the music business there's not A plus B equals C path. A lot of people have some talent. They write songs. They don't know what to do with them. How do I connect to the music business? How do I find co-writers? How do I get my stuff out there? They don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
And so they're just well, I can post links. I can do that. That I can do. And so I get you. You're wanting to hustle and you're trying to make some stuff happen. And God bless you. I appreciate that. Okay. But we're here to help you do it better. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to help you hopefully get some actual results for what you're doing. So yeah, the stuff that's running Facebook groups, man, it's the hit and run link posting where, you're not engaging with the group. You just here's my song and I'll post another one in about 30 minutes and adios. And you won't see me on anyone else's post, but here I go. And just the whole check out my song mentality. If I don't know you, why should I do this? No discussion. They're not asking questions. They're not encouraging people. They're not telling a story. They're not doing any of that stuff. It's just taking, right? They're not giving. And there's no sense of community in a lot of those groups. Right. It's just, like I said, a bunch of people in a crowded room yelling into corners. And
how good would a church work if they were just handing out money and everybody was taking money? the ecosystem would stop, right?
Right.
The preacher couldn't afford to preach. He'd have to go get another job, and they couldn't afford to keep the lights on in the building. And I mean, think about it like that, right? That's a community that is based on giving first, right? And then you give to receive. And so I mean, you're saying basically that there's just no relationships being made. They're just walking through the front door and saying,
hoping to get discovered. Yeah, hoping to get discovered, or they're just not sure what to do. So I'll put my music up. People will listen and they'll love me, and I'll get discovered eventually, or I'll start making fans. Well, first of all, you're in a group for songwriters. So really, that's not the best place to make fans. We got our own stuff. We got our own hustle, right? That's where everyone's dropping their own links and carpet bombing the group. They got their own hustle going. They're not really looking at becoming someone else's fan. They're focused on getting fans themselves. So you're trying to sell to a bunch of sellers.
Yeah.
You're not going where the people are. You're going where a bunch of other people in the same boat as you are. So, it's like a bunch of people, trying to sell oranges and nobody's hungry. There's all there selling oranges. Like, well, don't go there. Go where people are hungry.
Right.
So that's one thing. So yeah, you're looking for something to do. You're just not sure what to do. So you're going to get busy. You're just going to be busy, but it's not effective. I think sometimes it's a way of hiding. Hey man, I'm being busy. I'm hustling. I'm busting it.
Yeah, you can tell yourself a story that you actually did something that could be construed as productive, but it's actually the opposite.
Exactly. It's the story you tell yourself. It allows you to hide and not do the hard work of stuff that's going to be productive. So, you're not evil if you're doing this. Okay, I don't hate you. Okay, I just want to educate you. So make Facebook a better place for all of us. Tim Ferriss calls some of what we were just talking about work for work's sake. He's like, don't do work for work's sake. So you're just being busy. You need to focus on being effective, not just on being busy. And you need to think about the long game. Okay, the carpet bombing, the links, that's a short game. You're just hoping somebody's going to discover you and solve your life, right? And it doesn't work like that. You're more interested in getting discovered sometimes than getting better and learning. And you need to focus on getting better and learning and making relationships more so than just some big producer is going to happen to be in the Facebook group that day and listen to your link and call you up. It's not going to happen. But I have some ways to fix it that I want to share.
All right. Do tell.
All right. Unless you want to gripe some more about how people are running Facebook, because I could do that all day.
I could do that all day. No, I have to deal with it all day, and I'm happy we're doling out some information here for people to stop thinking about themselves.
Exactly. Okay, so I got 2 words that are going to fix this for you. Okay. And make Facebook a place. 2 words. First word is add. Second word is value. Add value, and by that I don't mean your music. Okay, your music is valuable, but not till we know you. Okay, so add value. Think about, what can I do to make this group a better place? Sometimes the best thing you can do at the beginning is just add to the silence. Okay, don't add to the noise. Right? Was that first rule of cutting through the clutter? Don't add to the clutter. Right? Don't add to the noise. So you want to engage. Okay, meaning you want to talk to people in the group. Hopefully you find somebody that's starting a conversation other than check out my song. If you can find those people, and they can be hard to find. Like I said, I go into groups looking to engage, and it's all check out my song, and I'm like, no. And
the group's just a dud, and you bail.
I'm like, who are these 9,000 people in this group, and do they ever show up and other than to drop links? Anyway, frustrates me. But okay, so you want to find somebody that asks a question or sharing some frustration or something, and build them up, engage. Even if it's like, man, I feel you. I struggle with the same stuff. Or it's all right. You're going to make it. Just keep trucking. Something like that. And if nobody's doing that, start your own. Reveal a bit of yourself. Something personal that doesn't have a link attached to it. Okay? Yeah. Maybe just something that you're feeling. It's man, it's like I said, I've been hard pressed to find people that do that. So you might need to start it. Ask your own question. Post something encouraging for other people, and you might have to do that for a little while before people start responding, because they're used to just posting their own stuff and running away. But if you find one of those good groups, like the Songwriting Pro group, where people are talking, you want to jump in, you want to continue the conversation, you want to start your own conversations. All right. The bottom line is, we don't care about your music until we care about you. Oh, this is something that we talked a lot about on this podcast, especially on the Johnny episodes about marketing. It used to be people were discovered by the music first, and then we learned about the artist. It's not that way in music anymore. Now we discover the artist, and then we discover the music. And it's the same way in these groups.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the links you're posting until I feel like I know you. Until I care about you, I don't care about clicking that link. I got my own music to listen to. I got my own jams, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like if you meet somebody for the first time, and the first thing is you're like, "Hey man, I'm moving tomorrow. Can I borrow your truck? Can you come over and help me move?" And because we all hate helping friends move, right? Nobody likes to move. That sucks, right? That's like the worst. That's the worst call you can get, because if it is a friend and you got to do it, But it blows. But you would never do that with somebody that you just met, because why? Because they would say no.
Have a relationship. Yeah, they just say no.
So, it's the same thing as what they're doing. You got to think about it like that.
Yeah, because it's an ask. You're asking people to come check out your music, and really you're asking them to do you a favor. I don't care how good your music is, because I'm not listening, so I really don't know. You might be doing me a favor by exposing me to your music, but I'm not ever going to know, because I'm not going to click on it, because it looks like you're asking me for something, and I'm busy, and I don't know you. So again, we don't care about your song until we care about you. Okay, so you want to be patient about this. You want to engage. I'm not saying that you can never post anything, but you want to be helpful for other people in the group. You want to be a contributor. You want to add value. You want to help people along their journey. An easy way to do it is just if somebody drops in and says, hey, I'm new to the group. Hey, welcome. Just say welcome. Give them a thumbs up or something. Hey, got any questions? Do something to start conversation. There's over in the Songwriting Pro group, there's a guy that actually just had a one-on-one coaching session with the other night. His name's Ozzie Brown. And I, had never met Ozzie. We'd never actually spoken before the other night, but he came into the group and he has just added value.
How did he add value?
I'm blessed that we have a great group of people over there.
Because I wanted to ask you about this. Like, what are you doing because you're fostering that, Brent.
So I'm trying to be a good host and a bouncer at the same time.
How did this guy add value, and what kind of policies do you have in place in the group? Because that might be something that people could follow in other groups.
Right. Well, the one thing we do to try and, because I know you want to share your songs, because I want to share my songs. I want the world to hear my stuff. Okay, so I get it. But I channel that. So we have U Day Tuesday. And so I'll post, when I get up on Tuesday morning, hey, this is U Day Tuesday. This is your chance to post one song as a comment on this post, just to share with the world. And so people start posting under there, and they'll comment on each other's stuff. And that way the site's not overrun with links, but it gives you a chance to share. And people know if they want to listen, they go to that post. And then on Friday, I have Feedback Friday. Same thing, Friday morning, I get up, here's your chance on Feedback Friday. Boom. This is for you're asking for feedback. Okay, the other one's just kind of sharing. You may get some feedback, usually more positive. Feedback Friday, hey, you're opening yourself up if people don't like what you're doing either, but people are helpful, and so they'll give you their feedback there, and people post under there. So we got 2 days a week where you can share. Other than that, we try not to do song sharing. It's conversation. It's asking questions, and people have been great about doing that. I'll post stuff, from blog posts, or I'll post stuff to asking questions, trying to start conversations, but writers have been great about starting their own conversations. And guys like Ozzie, he's been in there, and he'll comment on people's stuff. He'll comment on their songs on U Day Tuesday or Feedback Friday.
So he takes the time to listen. Yeah.
He listens. He gives feedback. He'll tell them something he likes about it. I guess he's posted some of his stuff too, but he's giving, and people appreciate getting their stuff commented on. And so what do they want to do? They want to check out Ozzie's stuff, right? Because he's been giving to them. Or just on other people's posts that aren't music. Somebody may ask a question or tell some story, some frustration or whatever. And he's just a kind of he's a positive vibe guy. Mm-hmm. You just enjoy having him around, because he's not griping and complaining, belly aching. He's just, hey, man, that's great. Congratulations. Somebody posts some win that they had. You heard their song. We had somebody the other day was talking about they heard their song in a grocery store. And people are like, man, that's great. Congratulations. Giving thumbs up and digital high fives.
Oh, nice.
That's a way of being engaged in the community.
Yeah.
And so you start seeing those names again and again in a positive, value-adding way. And so then when like U Day Tuesday comes along, and maybe you don't have time to listen to all the songs because a lot of people are posting stuff, but there's that name that you've seen all week. And you're like, oh, I want to see what that person does. Because I already feel like I know Ozzie, or I know Anthony, or I know some of these other people in the group, or Todd. What are they doing? I want to listen to that because I'm already more invested. I'm caring about their music, and I want to like it because I like this person who's added so much to the community already. So I'm predisposed to liking your stuff because you've given jab, 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 right hook. If you're a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, yeah, you're giving, and then you're sharing.
Right.
And it's not done in a check it out, braggadocious kind of way, because here's the spot where you're free. You've been invited to share. And so you're not imposing on anybody on those days because it's all under one post. If people don't want to check it out, they just don't go to that post. So it's, so guys like that make Facebook better.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when I'm trying to dream up ways to make my artists, their Twitter accounts, their Instagram accounts, their Facebook accounts more valuable, we're trying to dream up like cool content, right, for the artists. Do you think that that there's other kinds of content that they could provide that would like even something funny, right? That would be like a relating to songwriters, right? Or, something interesting, like maybe they put a link on to a really interesting article that they just read about that would maybe that information would provide value to the group. Like if you come bearing gifts in a certain way, do you think that works, or has that become clutter in the group?
I think it depends on what it is. So you do want to be careful on that. If it's just more links to somebody else's songs,
well, maybe not the songs, but right. I mean, there's a lot of articles about the music industry, about just educational, informational, motivational kind of stuff. If it wasn't for them and they put, hey, I just want to share this with you, I found this, I thought it was cool. Would that be considered valuable, or would that be? How would you feel?
I think it's valuable. I mean, we have people that do that in our group. Todd Dickinson does that a lot in our group. He'll post something, but usually add a personal note. Introduction to it. Hey, saw this, thought it was really cool. Here you go. Or man, this article knocked me out from her lips to God's ears. Some publisher talking about something.
Right.
Some personalize it a little bit. And then just make sure it's a useful, helpful article. Like he posted the other day, he posted a link to I think it's a SoundCloud page for Creative Nation. Mm-hmm. It's a publishing company in town, has Luke Laird, Barry Dean, a lot of hit writers. And it's their SoundCloud page where you can check out a lot of the demos for some of their hit songs and maybe stuff that hadn't been recorded yet.
That's freaking awesome.
So he's like, hey, I just want to share this. It's awesome. If you want to hear the kind of the behind the scenes or the songwriter versions of these great songs, check this out. So he wasn't promoting his own stuff. He was being a guide, right? He wasn't the hero. He was, and that had a lot of comments, a lot of likes. People engaged with it, like, oh my gosh, that's great. I enjoyed it myself. I was like, oh yeah, I need to go back over there. I'd seen it before, but it's been a while. Yeah. And so something like that did add value because it's relevant. Because we're songwriters, we like hearing the behind the scenes versions of hits or some stuff that pro writers are writing that hasn't been cut yet. So it was spot on and it was valuable. It was good quality content. So that kind of stuff adds to it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He knows the audience. He knows what we were talking there, what the conversation is, and he keeps it relevant. So yeah, I think that stuff can definitely help. And every group's going to have its own little vibe, but it's thinking about others, thinking how do you add value. And so I think when people see like Todd's name pop up on a U Day Tuesday or a Feedback Friday, they're going to be more likely to listen to his stuff or Ozzy's stuff because they've seen him as a good member of the community that is engaging with them and other people, and they're talking. You just see the name and you eventually get curious, if nothing else. Man, they seem nice, or they seem crazy. I wonder what their stuff sounds like. Oh, here it is. I'm going to click on that and find out.
Doing some kind of really cool gesture. It could be as heartfelt as, like you said, a positive comment. But when you're giving first, that's how you're really going to get on people's radar,
Exactly.
I mean, I've used that in so many just business deals, man. Like, just trying to figure out a way to get in touch with one person who's like really, really busy, but I really, really need to talk to him. And then I'll do something like this crazy gesture, and it works, because I did something for them first, this one story we had, I was a national sales director for a short sale company, and they were helping banks. Banks don't want to own property, right? People think they do, but they don't, and they tank when that happens, and that's why so many banks went under in the meltdown. And it was like the VP of Bank of America. Imagine how busy she was, and couldn't get her on the phone. But we had like $100 million of assets that we needed to help them unload, and they were taking forever, and we could help them. I sent her flat. I couldn't get a hold of her. Sent her 2 dozen roses. and said, I've got $100 million of assets I can help you unload if you help me make them move faster, and I got a call back from her, and we got on a faster track, and we went from waiting a year to get a short sale approved to Bank of America down to 60 days,
Wow.
so, and that helped them, but I just couldn't cut through the clutter until I did something for her first. Right. And then I got attention. So it's kind of like what we're talking about is doing that on these Facebook groups, right? Like, how can you add value? How can you do something that would make somebody else feel warm and fuzzy first?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what these guys are doing by engaging, listening to songs, making a comment, answering questions, and doing that sort of. They're giving, they're adding value. And it's great because they're helping other people to have a better experience in the community, in the group, and they're also helping set the culture and the tone of the group. Like, wow, this is a place where people are actually talking to each other and they're answering questions and they're, encouraging each other and that sort of thing. I have a story about my buddy Todd back when he was Stranger Todd, and so. We met, I had the blog at Songwriting Pro, and he was one of those guys that, he would comment on the blog post. He would comment on some stuff on social media. He ended up coming to a workshop or two online. And so I just, he was like adding value. His name kept just popping up in positive ways. Like, hey, man, I like that post, or adding a comment or playing a Wordplay Thursday, that kind of stuff, and then coming to a workshop, as part of a group workshop. And so eventually, I think he had, somehow emailed me or something. It was like, hey, man, I got a question. I got something I got to ask you about. Do you mind if we, get on the phone? I was like, well, sure, man, let's do it. He had endeared himself to me, or endeared me to him, however that works. Anyway, I like the guy. Never really had met him. He'd been I've seen his face on some video, workshops, but we didn't know each other. But I started to feel like I started to know him, and there was some reciprocity happening. He was always just sincere and helpful and added value. And so when he's like, hey, I got this thing, a situation, can we hop on the phone? Yeah. And I don't usually do that. Right. I definitely can't do that for complete strangers that email me and ask me to hop on the phone. I'm like, no, that's what I have consulting for, but for him, I was like, yeah, man, I felt like he'd given so much that I just want to give a little something back. And, and then we've become friends, since that time. And he's just a, good member of the community and a good buddy of mine to boot. But that's how it started off. He was giving.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. Add value. If you want to be part of that kind of community, come on over to Songwriting Pro Facebook group. Just request to join. We'll hook you up. Don't post a song unless it's U-Day Tuesday or Feedback Friday. You've been warned. Because I've been deleting stuff. I'm the bouncer. But, we'd love to have you there. And people are kind of helping each other out, answering questions, and just encouraging each other. So
I'll tell you what, forgive me for interrupting, but, as a new, if you go to songwritingpro.com, if I was going there and I was a songwriter and I got accepted into the group, I might spend the first couple weeks just listening to everybody else's stuff and commenting on it, and not even putting any of my stuff up right away. Just kind of getting to know people and just getting my name out there, and then come in with one of those and watch what kind of warm reception you would get, like on a day when you're allowed to do that. I mean, that's what a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really smart way to do it, because that way, like I said, you make them curious, if nothing else. Like, oh, there's that guy. Oh, what kind of stuff do you do? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. We also have a community over at the C.L.I.M.B Facebook group. It's a little baby community. Yeah. It's small, but we're wanting to grow that as well. So you can come on and visit us over there as well, ask questions, give feedback and engage there, or at Songwriting Pro Facebook group. So we'd love to have you over there. But that's it. So stop running Facebook. Don't hit and run, link post. Don't just yell, check out my song, and then check out of the group. You want to give. You want to engage, you want to ask questions, you want to encourage people, you want to be helpful, welcome other people to the group, and then people will, like you said, give you a warm reception when you do share your stuff.
There you go. Well, now you've just been given some really good pointers on how to be a a really good human being online. There you go.
There we go.
So with that, Brent, what else you got for us? Not just that information, but is there anything else you want to share with everybody in the podcast today?
This week I just want to send people over to the Facebook groups and say, come on over. We want you to join the party. The water's nice and warm. Yeah. Come on in, join the conversation. We'd love to have you. That's really what I want to leave people with. You can go over to Songwriting Pro Facebook group or at the C.L.I.M.B Facebook group. Both places are welcoming.
Yeah.
So that's really what I want to, since we're doing all this talk, come on over, see what it's like, see what we're talking about, experience it for yourself.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of the C.L.I.M.B. Hey, this podcast exists because we want you to win, okay? We want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.